Hey everybody, it's JS Reptiles here, and we're back at it with another video for Care for a Blue Tongue Skink again. Let's get into it. So I'm going to have 7 segments in this video today. First one is cage, size, and whole thing I guess. Second is substrate, so you need some good substrate. Third is heating, everything I guess heating here. Fourth is caves. Need some caves. Fifth is food and water, and sixth is price. So I'm going to start with cage. Size. So size. Depends on the size of your lizard. I always go with what I say is you will want a cage 3 times longer than the lizard. So if you've got a 40 centimeter long lizard like my ones, you would want a 120 centimeter long cage. I guess as wide as the lizard itself, like this one behind me here. I don't know what kind it is, but it's 120 centimeters long and I think 40 centimeters wide, which would be a good one for it. So opening door, I think opening doors are better than from the top. Less scary for the lizard. Instead of an eagle going down, it's just a tiger. For babies, I don't think you can really have one too big. From what I say, you could keep a baby in this as long as you have enough hides and everything. It would be easier to keep it a smaller one, a lot easier to find it and easier to keep a chicken. Now we're going to go on to substrate. Substrate is the important thing. It's what they're going to be living on. For babies, I'd say use either newspaper or paper towel because not a chance of them impacted, which I guess you don't know is when they eat a bunch of whatever they're substrate in and get stuck in their belly and then die. Which kind of don't want that to happen unless you do. But paper towel or newspaper would be the best for babies, I'd say. Once they get to, like I say, 6 months or older, you can probably get other ones. I would say for adults or I guess bigger ones, I would use either dirt, because that's what I use. I just use potting soil from shop. I don't know. You can also use, I guess, reptile brand ones. Lizard Litter, I think it's called. I'm not sure about that one. I only have used dirt and some other ones, just like coconut fiber and stuff like that. I prefer dirt. It's easier for me to do, and you can put plants in it because it's dirt. You can also, I don't recommend using aspen or wood chips, things like that. They're quite dusty and quite dry, and you don't want a dry substrate because they can lose the little toesies unless you're not looking at them. Because what happens is dry, they're going to shed around their toes, can't fall off, then now no toes. I haven't had that with any of mine because I use dirt. I used to use aspen, but I switched for dirt now, and it's been going good this whole time, so I'm happy with it. Now, 3. Heating. I use top heating and which is heat light, and heat mat. There's a few different types of heat mat. You can use those floppy ones. I use just heat mats. It's just a square, a plastic. They're made for dogs and cats. I use one of them for one of mine. One of them is made for plants. That one gets quite hot. And make sure when you have your heat mat, you have your thermostat. I'll grab one. So here's a thermostat. They're a bit expensive. Some of them depends on which one you get. My one obviously has this little bit here, which you put it on the heat mat. And then with this, you plug the heat mat into here and here, and then change the temperature. You can choose the temperature on this one. I would say to keep it around 35 degrees, which is about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what I do. Try to keep it around there. And same with the heat light too. Try to keep it nice and warm, toasty, so they can stay warm and toasty. And another thing to add is heat gradient, which is heat hot side and cool side. So one side you would have the heat mat and the heat light. The other side you would have the heat mat and the heat. And you wouldn't have the heat mat and heat light. So it's nice and they can cool off every once in a while. You want to around 75 degrees if you can do that, which I think is good. Now, for caves, it's good to have tubes. I use plastic plumbing tubes. It's like big white plastic tubes. They work well for me. They seem to love them the most. I don't know, it's the one they like most. I also use little cave things, which if I can hit it big enough, I'll put it here. It's like a coconut thing. It's made for plants, but I think it works well for them, and they seem to enjoy it. It's the heat one for me. That's the biggest one, and it covers the whole heat bit. And they seem to like it. But their favourite one is the plumbing tube. Is quite good. I use it. You can also get reptile brand ones. Those are quite expensive, so I don't like to get them. They're really expensive. For me at least, I'm not the richest guy. But I use plastic tubes. They work well because they're easy to clean and not very sharp. The other one isn't also sharp. It's if they have food on it, it's gonna be hard to clean. But they don't really go on top of it because they don't really climb it once. They put other things in the cave, a rock for their claws, because it's good to have rocks for their claws. My ones do, and their claws are nice and short, except for nice and short, I guess. Except for one of them, when I got them, they had long ass claws. Yeah, they had really long claws. And my other one has had a rock the whole time. Never had a problem with their claws. Always been going well. You can put it under the heat light because it gets nice and hot. And yeah. Next one is water and heating. Water and food. Food, I would recommend dog food. It's probably the best. I would avoiding ones that have like potato, starchy stuff like rice. Or grain. It just doesn't add anything to it all, it's just filler. You can have one that's just meat, you can add vegetables and stuff to it, as which ones are good. You can also get ones with peas and stuff like that in it too. I usually just get pure meat one and add stuff to it myself. And it seems to be going fine so far. You can also supplement it with bugs and stuff like snails, mealworms, crickets, soldier-fly larvae. They would like that too. You can also give cat biscuits as a snack or just a treat if they like it more than that. Make sure the cat food does not have fish in it, because fish is not very good for them. You can also just check what foods and vegetables are good for them, like capsicum, rocket, things like that. You can also give them carrot, apple, strawberry, berries as a nice snack and a treat for them because they love the berries and stuff like that. Water. You don't want to just use tap water because there's chlorine and stuff like that in it. I would recommend either you can get stuff in a bottle and you put a few drops in it and it cleans the water. You can also boil the water, which does work well for that. And another one is filter. Get a water filter, and that also works good too. And last, price. They're not the most expensive animals, especially out front. They're probably the cheapest one you can buy. They're around 150 to 250 for grass. The lizard is 150 to 250, which is not too much compared to bearded dragons, which can be up to 500 or more. I've never seen one below 400 before, so they're a bit expensive. But blue tongues are nice and cheap. They also don't need too much expensive enclosure, I said. If you build one yourself, which I did with this one down here. That one's a drop video. Sorry it's covered, but here it is. It's just a wooden enclosure. That's about it. And there's one lizard on each side, one's on that side, one lizard on that side. Yeah. It was about $350. I'm building another one, hopefully a bit better than this one, a bit flawed a bit, but yes, it was $350 and not too much. The caging and lighting is a bit expensive-ish. The light cages can be vary. Some of mine were $40 or $50, where some were like $60 and more. The thermostat I got was between $80 and $120, which is I think a fair price. I got 3 of those, but they work well, and they keep the animal nice and happy, and not overheating. Food is not too much. If you get dog food. It's not very expensive. I probably spend about like maybe $6 a week max on food, which is not much at all. And if you give them bugs and stuff, if you keep breeding them yourself, they basically barely eating at all, probably less than a couple bucks to feed a week or two. Very cheap, and they like them too. Snails, I don't even know if you catch them outside. Keep them for a few days so then they don't have anything in their system anymore. That would be bad for the lizard. Crickets do the same thing too, and they should be all good. Cage itself, like I said, if you buy a cage, it's probably a couple hundred for a good one. Like this one, probably right $300-500. Heat mats aren't very expensive, which is really squeaky. Heat mats aren't very expensive, anywhere from 40 to I think $50 to 60. Unless you get a big one, they can probably more. I'm talking about New Zealand because that's where things are. And yeah, that's about most of the price. Nothing else you really need. Substrate isn't very expensive. The dirt I get is like $5, so it's not very good. It's for 20 kgs of dirt, which is probably all you need for one. If you want to get them nice thick, you get 2 packets, and it should be good. The caves aren't also very expensive, unless you get obviously reptile ones, which are overpriced for what I say. The tubes I get, I probably only spend the max $100 on all the stuff they have inside their thing. And yeah, also for another thing, plants in the enclosure too. I put these vine things, I'm very good for reptiles, but I put that where their basking thing is because they like to be partly undercover when they're basking, and I think that's a good thing. So they can slither to each cave without being too exposed, and it makes them a bit more happy. And I think that's about all you need to know. If you're wanting to know more, I'd also recommend to go and watch Reptimatic TV's ones. Those ones are quite good. Flint Reptiles or some other people. And yeah, I'm JS Reptiles.